you're always nervous when you make something because you really have no idea while you're shooting it. I mean, I remember shooting the first season of Stranger Things and thinking every day that we've messed this thing up and no one's going to watch it and it's going to be terrible.
Very few people in your position get a chance to see their creation brought to the screen once, twice, let alone in a different incarnation from another set of talented filmmakers.
I'm the poster boy for getting away with murder. I mean, you know, yeah.
So give me a sense of sort of what this journey has been like for you on this new go-around. Has it been an opportunity to sort of see, obviously there's great love for the Guillermo films,
Right.
there always will be, but what were you excited to explore this time around with these collaborators?
Well, you know, when Neil came on board, because I was a big Neil Marshall fan, especially The Descent, which is one of my all-time favorite horror movies, and I always thought of Hellboy as a horror comic, and nothing at all against what Guillermo did, but his leaned more in that fantasy
Right.
direction. And as soon as Neil's name was mentioned, you thought, oh, we can do something that's much more grounded, much darker. So it's like they both start with the same material and they lean it in different directions.
Yeah.
And it's always fun when you get to really remake the world, you know, because it isn't exactly the comic. There are different relationships between the different characters. And it's exciting to have a hand in, I've gotten to recreate my thing like 4 times now,
Right.
you know, so it's exciting.
Sasha, for you, big fan of your work, but I've never seen you in any kind of a thing like this. This is new territory, fair to say.
Fan of my vibe.
Exactly, and your vibe. But talk to me. Has this been kind of like a strange journey for you to be in this kind of a film, this kind of endeavor? Has it felt different for you?
Yeah, I mean, it's a super, strange is the right word, because I also, like, you know, people don't know me, like you said, so for Lionsgate to, like, want me is, like, kind of cool and dope, and then, like, Comic-Con, like, all the interactions and, like, just, like, boom, you know, like, excitement. Like,
Shot out of a cannon, yeah.
I saw, like, the teaser, not trailer, and was just like, oh, this is fucking cool. Sorry, MTV. But, yeah.
We're all grown-ups, we got it.
So, yeah, this is dope.
Daniel, for you, your casting obviously was an unusual, like, kind of sequence of events. Talk to me a little bit about, you know, Ed Skrein was very graceful kind of in his departure from this. What was your attitude when this kind of came around? Did it feel like the right call, the right shift, the right moment in time for this?
I kind of felt like it was meant to be.
Yeah.
That this was supposed to be my next role, you know, one of the best silver linings about this whole situation is that Ed Skrein and I have become friends.
Right.
Once I was hired and he graciously stepped away, I actually sought him out in London and had lunch with him, and you know, he was, I'm happy to report, the real deal. He was completely genuine, very sincere. A lot of times in these situations, it's a lot of publicists generating, you know, releases.
Right.
But it was all from his heart, and so it was really, really reassuring. And we've become friends. I just saw him in Hawaii a couple of weeks ago, and you know, he wishes the film well, and I wish him nothing but the best.
Amazing.
I have to say, too, I was really proud of the film when that change got made, because it seems like it's getting harder and harder in society to say, we've made a mistake. We'd like to amend this mistake.
People tend to double down and be like...
Well, in certain aspects, yeah, you scream and yell about how you're a victim.
Right.
Or you just deny that you've made a mistake.
Right.
And I think that it's, you know, it's not on certain levels, but it is on a cultural level to say, like, this is an important thing that we want to do culturally. And yeah, there was mistakes made and we were confused, and like now we're not, and we're excited about this. And I think that was like, right from the start, that's what excited me about this movie. It was like, we're going to do this right, and even if it means that we make mistakes that we have to amend, we're going to do that instead of sacrifice the integrity of the film and the integrity of what we're doing.
When I think I spoke to you when you were pretty soon, like, had just come off of this, and it was clear this was a project that took a toll. Like, it was an intense. Yeah. This was an intense shoot. For you.
My girlfriend says I was busted when I came back from Bulgaria. She just, it's just a one word. It's just busted. How did I look? Busted.
So what went down? What happened? What was busted? What was it? Psychological? Was it physical?
You know, there's all little things about it too. Like I have a implant, a false tooth that I removed for it as well.
Totally forgot
Yeah.
that.
So I was walking around Bulgaria like without a front tooth, and like come back to New York, and I'm like, "What's up, everybody?" You know, and you just like, I smoked 1,000 cigarettes, and I And I was just like, and I was so kind of in it, and you're in Bulgaria, and you're not really interacting with a lot of people. Like, you're isolated, you don't speak the language. So I would just go home and eat spaghetti bolognese, and then go back to work at 4 in the morning and get in makeup. I was just busted, you know? I was just busted. So it took me like a month to really sort of like calm down and get out of it. But you know, part of that is what's like really fun about our jobs. It's like we get to go live a life of being busted for like 4 months and like just going crazy. And so yeah, like when I get an opportunity like this that's so epic and fun and exciting, like I just go for it as hard as I can. And so sometimes you're at the end of a marathon, and you're just exhausted, you need a power bar and a drink of water, you know?
Let's talk about the differences or similarities between Hellboy and Mr. Harbour here. Who's got a dirtier mouth, would we say? Harbour or Hellboy?
I think I do. I mean, I'm a fucking, you know, I'm a fucking crazy.
Hellboy has a dirtier mouth this time around than he did last time.
There, it's all relative. Okay, so there you
No,
go.
but I think I added. I brought my own.
That was a
brand.
Harbour touch.
I mean, because Hellboy used words like crap and stuff like that. And
Crap
stuff.
was like our signature. It's his signature line.
Yeah.
That's my genius as a writer.
Who's got better hygiene, Hellboy or Harbour?
When I'm playing Hellboy, I smell pretty bad.
And your
so.
sweat would like drip on my eyes sometimes when you're leaning up, and I was like, "Lucky, I love you."
I give you a little waterfall in the eyes.
But since you were in Hellboy costume, then I was like, "Oh, she's beautiful." But you know, after I was like, "Oh my gosh."
I can't imagine anybody wanted to be around when they unzipped that suit at the end of the day.
Oh man,
Yeah.
that was an olfactory experience. That is a once in a lifetime thing if you ever experienced it. And I wasn't very good about brushing my 3 remaining teeth either. So I would say Hellboy wins on the hygiene front as well.
Yeah. Obviously, the fans here saw something, and hopefully the rest of the world will get to see stuff soon. Is there a particular scene, a moment, an aspect of this film that you're excited to let loose?
Yeah, I mean, I know there's one scene that I mean, there's tons of scenes. And first of all, like both Sasha and Daniel are incredible in what I've seen of the movie so far. But in terms of, and there's a beautiful scene that I have with Sasha that I really love. But one of my favorite things is there's another monster in the movie, like a big monster in the movie, in full practical prosthetics, as I am. And we sit down and have dinner. We kind of have a scene that is a really beautiful, strange, weird scene. And the fact that you have a sort of emotional scene with 2 monsters and funny is just, to me, very unique about this film. And so that's one scene that I love.
What about for you, Mike? I'm curious. There must be a lot of emotions running through you about this.
I haven't seen a lot. I've seen the scene he's talking about, which is unbelievable. But I had, the one day I was on set in Bulgaria, there's a scene in the comic that was as spot on, exact, realized on, you know, in a field in Bulgaria. And I never really had that, again, nothing against the first 2 movies, but I never had that moment where I went, holy shit, that's the comic. And you know, again, most of the stuff I haven't seen, but yeah, that scene was just unbelievable to me.
Is there a question or a moment that any of you guys had with Mike that, like, is that useful to have the guy who created it around a little bit or have some access to him? Was there a way to pick his brain a little bit?
I feel like even because since this is we're remaking a whole different Hellboy and all of that, just for my mind to see him there, I was like, oh, so we cool? We're all good with this?
Right.
Word. Okay. Like, you know, it felt, and then it felt like, since I knew we were trying to stick a little more to it, it's like we clearly, if anyone did have a question or whatever, it's like, we got the guy.
Yeah.
Got the guy.
It was also just great to be able to say, what were you thinking?
Yeah.
You know, what were you thinking about this character when you originated the character? You know, what's the relationship between this character and, you know, the others? And so to have source material, like, who's alive and vibrant and involved and committed, that's a really valuable commodity.
Which I appreciate, because it's not, you know, not every film out there, you know, even if they have access to the creator, wants the creator there, because a creator can be a real pain in the ass, and it's like, oh, my guy wouldn't do this, my guy wouldn't do that. But you have to kind of go, no, it's a different thing. It's very true to the spirit of what I did. And this one, again, really, they were referencing the book so much. It was very flattering to me.
having taken over a role that's already beloved, that Ron did such an amazing job the first time. I know you honor that one. Do you have advice for the guy that's going to play Jim Hopper in the Stranger Things reboot?
Yeah, I can't wait to see it. I'm really psyched to shake your hand for. I'm gonna complete season 3, but I'm really psyched to see the new guy come in for 4, and just be like. I would say work out more though. That would be my one piece of advice. So you're not humiliated constantly on Twitter for having a dad bod. But that's my only note that I would have.
Having seen Millie recently, last question, do you think she likes you or Drake more? Do you think there is more reverence?
Oh, man. Oh, Drake. Oh, Drake. I mean, how could I compete? I'm like a dorky dude who walks around the East Village, and he's Drake. He's making records. What am I doing, really? Josh, there's no competition. She clearly likes me better. I mean, I've clearly laid it out. How could she not?
The twist at the end.
There you go,
always.
the twist.